Welcome back. In this video, I'll talk about working with series data structure. Okay. Now I'm going to import the library, import pandas as PD. Okay. Now I wanted to take a variable called games is equal to PD dot. Okay. I just wanted to read this. Okay. And simply say that read CSV and wanted to enclose the brackets. I wanted to use data set something. Let me just go here to the folder. Let me just go to the folder here. I wanted to use this data set. Okay, I'll just copy this entire data set. Okay, and I will use it here. So this is how we will retrieve this data. Now when I press enter, I get nothing, but now when I enter games here, I'll get the entire data set here. But some of the data set you can't see. Sometimes what will happen, you'll have huge amount of data, you don't want it to see all the data. So simply you can just enter the variable name dot simply h and tab. You'll get the first 5 indexes of this data frame. Okay. Now what I'm trying to do here is I will try to use an object called d types. Okay, now let me just say that variable name games dot, and I wanted to enter d here and then tab. You'll get the data types, and this method we will this method will show what kind of data is holding in these columns. Okay, now I get here, you can see the rank is holding the integer data type, name is holding the object data type, similarly year is holding the float kind of data, so on, right? So this method says what kind of data we are having in these respective columns. Now we have another method called, let us just say that I wanted to retrieve junior from this data set. Okay, in that case I will use a variable name games dot, I'll just simply use this, I'll just copy and I'll just paste it here. Okay, now here I wanted to use describe method. Okay, let's see what we'll get. See, in this describe method, it will just show, it describes the name itself describes, right? It describes the entire column. Okay, so now what we have in this column is almost 16,598 data indexes we have. Okay, and it is saying that we have 12 unique categories like that, like sports, platform, racing, sports. So there are some categories repeating, so they have 12 unique categories, and the top one is action. So it is saying that uh, the most frequent number of category is action here, and it is showing here in this. Now what we are trying to do here is, again, I'm trying to use another method here. Let me just say that games again dot, I wanted to take the same junior column, and here I wanted to use the method called, let me just tab here, value counts. Okay, I wanted to use the method called value counts. Let's see what we'll get here. You can see whatever the column describes here, all the categories it has mentioned, and it is mentioning how much the frequency of that category is having. Like we have talked here, the top one is action and the next one is sports. So you can just observe this data, and this is very important when you're analyzing the data. Okay, now let's go further and let us understand something else here. See, the whole thing, the whole data set is a data frame, and we are now manipulating with respect to series. Actually, series means only column. So this, whatever the linear we are talking about, that is actually series. Combination of series will become a data frame. Okay, that is the most important thing to understand. Now let us say here, mm, what we are trying to do here is, uh, I wanted to see here the type here, right? I wanted to see the type of games dot, whatever is there here, right? I wanted to use all these games, control C. So now I got, you can see that it is saying series. This is a series data type. Okay, now what I would like to do here is, again, if I wanted to put head here, okay, if I wanted to put the head method, I'll get the top five, I'll get the top five counts. Okay, so you can see, you don't have to see each and every data, you can see the top five in the list. Now going further, I wanted to use a unique method here again. Okay, let's say that I'm using the variable data frame games. I wanted to retrieve the column junior, and I wanted to see what are there in this junior column. The categories are described, right, like here. So I wanted to use method unique method. So if I execute it, you will see it's a one dimensional, right, because it is series and it describes the unique categories that are presented in this genre column. Now if I wanted to see how much is the count of this unique categories, then I can just use games dot genre games dot genre dot n unique okay, n unique. So this time I'll get 12. Now this is how we actually do. So we can also use one important method which is called as cross tab. So what does it actually do? Pd dot, I can just use cr and tab. Okay, I just got cross tab. Here I wanted to use the column using the data frame games dot and the column genre. Okay, genre, and also I wanted to see, I'm representing here two columns actually. One is a genre column and also the other one is I wanted to retrieve an year column. I just wanted to see year by year how many items are there in the genre. So I just wanted to see the data distribution between genre and the year. So you can see it here, almost you have this, right? Here you got an year and here you got the categories, right? Year by year it shows something, the data like this. Now from here I wanted to see, from here what I wanted to see, uh, I wanted to see the global sales, whether it is there here. Okay, I wanted to see the column, I wanted to see the column global sales. So this time I wanted to take another column called global sales. Okay, and this time it is purely a numerical data type. Okay, now games dot, I wanted to simply say that global underscore sales dot, and I wanted to use here the method describe. Okay, describe, let's see what I will get here. So I have got, in the describe call, in the global sales column it is having almost 16,598 are the I mean will be in the list, like here we have seen, this is the count for, this is the count for, this is the count for junior column, right? So likewise we have the count for global sales column, and it is showing here the statistical data here. If you can observe, it is clearly showing that it is a statistical data. Mean, standard deviation, minimum, 25th percentile, 50th percentile, 70th percentile, 75th percentile, and maximum. So this is how, this is really important when you're using a statistical approach, and this is it. Or even you can do it this with by giving a separate object called mean. Suppose you don't wanted to know each and everything here. Okay, you don't wanted to see all this. You can simply use games dot. I wanted to copy paste this variable here. Control C, Control V, global sales. Okay, global sales dot. I wanted to use method mean here. Similarly, you can use any other method, right? So I got a simple single value called 0.537. All right. Now, if I wanted to know something like, if I wanted to know in terms of what I can say graphical representation. So pandas will give very good graphical representation for hist. Okay. So let me use the variable name called games, and I wanted to see the year column. Okay, I wanted to see the year column here and say that I wanted to plot here, right? So plot is a plot inside this pandas data frame, and here I can just use shift tab and check what kind of parameters are there here where I can use. So here I can use kind. Okay, kind is equal to hist I can use. So kind is equal to I can use hist. Now let's see what we'll get. So you can see it here, right? You can simply visualize this data by using this method dot plot and kind is equal to hist. Histogram simply says that the density of data with respect to the years here. So you can see here between 2010, in the year 2010 there is a huge data. Okay, this is how actually you can just list. Now if you wanted to see um, you have seen it, right, like here. Okay, now what I wanted to do here is I wanted to do something called bar chart. I wanted to look at the bar chart. So we have already seen that, like, I wanted to use the same here which is having here. Okay, let me just, I wanted to see this in bar chart. Okay, what I wanted to do here is I simply take copy this. Okay, now this time I'll use dot plot again. Okay, dot plot again, and this time I will use kind is equal to bar. Okay, let's see what we'll get here. See, it is a very easy to visualize. Okay, instead of seeing in terms of numbers, you can directly visualize which is having the highest frequency. Like action is having most frequent, next having most frequently data is sports. Likewise, you can easily analyze this data. All right, this is about working with series data structure. In the coming video you'll see some more videos on the pandas. All right.